You're listening to Rock Our Whim, hosted by me, Danny Faye. If you just want to introduce yourselves.
I'm Ben. I'm lead vocals and rhythm guitar.
I'm Tom. I'm lead guitar and backing vocals.
I'm Callan. I'm on bass and synths and backing tracks.
I'm Cam. I'm the drummer and backing vocals.
You didn't mention the picnic table, Cam.
Oh, and the owner of a picnic table. Proud owner.
I feel like we need some context.
Table or a little one?
It's a good size, but it packs down as well, and that's the key detail about it.
It's where all his synth fits and God knows what else goes, and it's a sight at gigs. It's funny.
Yeah, we had a bit of a palaver trying to set everything up, and I realised I needed something to set up on stage with. And official equipment and furniture is quite expensive. I managed to find a picnic table, however, that does the job.
Genius.
There's one way to do it. So you've had some gigs recently. How did they go?
They were pretty smooth, I think, considering obviously they were the first ones. I think it was a bit of a sort of nervous anticipation, I think. Well, certainly on my part. Because obviously it's been a band for like 18 months and they were the first gigs, obviously, with the world being the way that it's been. So yeah, we just wanted to get the ball rolling. I think that's what we've wanted to do for such a long time now. So yeah, a few little hiccups, but I think it's not a live show if it's 100% perfect. I don't think, is it?
No, I mean, for me, I think we figured out it was like the first time I've been on stage since for 2.5 years or something. Which just seems alien and crazy to me. Like, it's just ridiculous. But it was, for me personally, it was quite, because I used to be lead singer. For me, the biggest thing was being able to actually not be tied to a microphone. I didn't know what to do. It's like, I could walk over there. But I've got to get back to, no, I don't. Okay. There's the audience. They're over there. Okay. I was able to have a look around. It was just bizarre.
Was there quite a lot of people there?
Relatively, I think, yeah.
Yeah, we played the Saturday and Sunday on tramlines, the fringe side of tramlines in Sheffield. Saturday was at Dina venue. I want to say Dina.
Yep. Yeah, that's one.
I know it's 4 letters and I always get it mixed up. Yeah, at Dina in Sheffield, and then Sunday was at Record Junkie. And I think both of them are small to medium sized venues, I guess.
Yeah.
And neither was packed, but it was like the right people seemed to be there. I think everyone sort of got involved and everyone enjoyed it. We got some good feedback, so
always a bonus.
Yeah, it was great.
Absolutely. Like I said, I think it's Tramline's always a good one because you kind of obviously get the band that's just been on kind of seems to still be there while you're playing, and then while you're playing, the band that's coming on next is also in there, so you kind of get a steady flow of people. Obviously, you're going to get people in and out all the time. And obviously, we've got the hardcores that come with us. We're going to be there by hook or by crook, regardless. But yeah, they were fairly well populated, and like I said, with the right people, definitely.
So, how did you become a band? How did you all meet?
So this is where like me and Tom have to kind of think, right, who's going, me or you?
Okay. You go for you and Cam first. Go for it.
I got it. Yeah. So me and Cam were in a band called Hush, and then and other bands before it, but yeah, that was the latest one. And then Tom and Cal were in a band called Southern Skies, both of which kind of both came to a bit of a natural finish, as these things tend to do. And we just said, like, why don't we just book a practice room and see what happens? Because we knew Tom. Tom recorded the first EP that we did for Hush, so that connection was already there, as well as obviously getting.
Yeah, it's fair to say we had a bit of a laugh recording that as well. It was great.
Yeah, that was.
We just sort of that's a good time. I think we're all on sort of like the same page. I think musically.
Yeah.
And then 2 years later.
Yeah, it's now its own fully fledged thing. So yeah, and then we had a few jam sessions, a few like kind of sort of writing session / drinking sessions at various different people's houses. to get some ideas flowing. And yeah, everything just kind of seemed to be slotted into place. So we just said, yeah, let's just run with it. And the plan was obviously to unveil it all at Tramlines 2020, which obviously that went really well. But yeah, and I think it's kind of the sound that we've got is like an amalgamation of kind of those two things. Kind of if you shove them together really quick and they all fuse together, just to kind of see what happened. And and the result is obviously what we've got now.
So obviously you had lockdown to contend with. How did you build a fan base and promote that?
Lockdown was so bizarre, because I think 2020 for us, I guess we started the year where everything was happy and everything was fine and COVID wasn't a thing. And we spent the year by having 3 or 4 days at Carlton's house. I think it was literally like the 2nd to the 5th of January or something like that. And we basically recorded a load of demos using electric kit and just having an amplifier in Carlton's kitchen surrounded by like soundproof material that was from the studio, which had sort of closed out. So it's literally taken off the walls and like hung up in a fashion that sort of worked. It was the most budget thing you've ever seen, but it was great. And we did a lot of sort of demo recordings, and we thought, right, okay, here's something to build off for the rest of the year. And then the rest of the year happened. And then I think it was September, October?
Yeah, it was about September, October, we eventually...
Yeah, and we started talking again and started thinking, right, okay, this obviously isn't going away anytime soon. How can we sort of work around everything? And I think definitely towards the end of the year, we just started recording remotely. We set stuff up so that Ben could record vocals literally in his garage. Me and Cal sort of had bits and pieces anyway, because we like to dabble in music production and that anyway. And Cam essentially nicked his parents' iMac, installed Logic and started inputting drums, and everyone was just sending me all the stems, and we put everything together and then gave it a mix, and that's essentially the EP that's currently uploaded to Spotify at the minute.
So have you got any more to be uploaded?
Yeah, there's one more song which we have played live, so anyone that's at those gigs has heard, which is it's in the final stages. But we've sort of been releasing a single like every month and a half, I think.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, and that seems to be going pretty well. It keeps like momentum up. People, the good thing about Spotify in particular is when you follow an artist, when another song comes up, everyone who follows us gets notified about it and release radars and discover weeklies and all that sort of algorithmic stuff. So we're sort of capitalizing on that, really.
Is there an EP or an album in the works, or are you just going to keep releasing singles?
I think so the singles we've got out at the minute, unless this changes somewhere down the line. The singles we've got out at the minute, I think once we've released the last one, it's going to be as part of an EP. So it's kind of like, okay, put all those sort of to bed, put a tie a knot around it, and put a nice pretty bow on it, and it's out. But I think the thing is, like, song 5 isn't even finished yet, and already I'm itching to get into the studio now. So well, I think go on.
And I said we said this at the Tramlines gig, didn't we? Literally came off stage after the Record Junkie gig on the Sunday, and we were just like, we need to start like recording again, writing again, and finishing these other songs off. And we're kind of like, it's a weird sensation, because obviously some of these songs we've known and been playing for like the best part of at least a year, and like, but so it's a weird one to kind of process the fact that people may not have heard them yet. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even though like they've only just gone out there, but they've been in our heads and in our ears for quite a while. So yeah, we're kind of itching to get on. I think, regardless, I think it's just something that we enjoy doing as well. Like, I mean, whether we go in a studio or whether we do it the same again, try it, or a mixture of both. I don't know, but I think we just want to keep doing what we're doing. Like, I think it's been quite productive for us, and I think it's been a really kind of a nice change to work like that, because I think in previous bands you just kind of get in a practice room, and then if someone jams an idea, you go, oh, that's cool, and then you'll jam on it for half an hour, and then you'll be like, all right, actually no, we need to focus and do this, and then you have another idea. So there's just ideas floating about everywhere, and there's just no way to kind of keep a track of everything, really. So I think, yeah, this has been a really good way of keeping track of the ideas that we've got, and then, like you say, sort of hearing them ourselves before we then kind of go and play them live, which has also been a weird sensation in itself. Because that's one of the songs in it, the last one that's going to be coming out. That wasn't even a song when lockdown happened. So that was written, recorded, everything remotely. So when we actually got back into a practice room, it's like, right, how do we play this one?
Actually, I had to learn the songs.
That's essentially what it was, wasn't it?
You had the biggest sort of stepping stone for that, didn't you? Really?
You did.
But me, it'd be nice to get in the studio and to record actual drums. To be honest.
Yeah.
And just the Logic Pro. What is it? Drummer.
Yeah. Using drummer, then let's sort of edit it to build it yourself, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It was amazing for Cal. I could just being able to obviously input all that and never actually play the songs, and then suddenly he's in a room behind a drum kit for the first time in 2 years. And he's like, oh yeah,
how does this go?
Yeah.
I didn't know though. So when we did the first sort of mix for the first song, Aurora, I listened to it. I'm like, oh, that's mint. Because I know Cam, I don't know if you still got it, but I know Cam had an electric kit and everything. So I just presumed that that's what had happened, that they'd obviously played the electric kit and done it that way. And then, there was something about editing the drum things, what you talk about. And I'm like, are they not real? And they're like, oh, no, they're not real drums. I'm like, I genuinely, I was like, there is no way. I weren't having it. I'm like, right, prove that they're not real drums to me, because I do not believe it. Yeah, so I think I think that's one of the sort of the more positive things for me of that, the decided recording the daft as it sounds. I'm not like dumbing down your drumming, Cam. Like, I'm not saying you should program everything, but just the overall sound of that, what we got from the drums was just absolutely mental. Like, it's
a good little program, you know.
Yeah.
Like, if I got the ability, like through lockdown, to go in a studio, then we've got that option. You know what I mean? We could even do that again, do exactly the same again. How we wrote the other songs, do it all remotely. So I think it worked well for us, to be honest.
Mm.
Did you find it difficult taking it from the computer-made drum sounds to an actual drum kit?
I did, yeah. I know where things were, but we added all that little fills and obviously the structures. I know the structures, but we got to certain parts of the songs in practice room. I'm like, don't know what's going on.
I think that was the biggest thing for me as well. Like, I knew the structures off by heart, but I didn't know what chord it was going to. I was like, it's supposed to sound like something like that. There's a riff here. I should play it.
It was a very weird workflow going from obviously typically you'd jam out songs, you'd write them out in the practice room, and you learn it as you're writing it. Whereas for us, as we're recording and adding new bits and changing this, we're only recording one single part at a time. So it was then very weird as all coming back in. I remember the first practice that we actually got in, all really, excited for it, and everyone plugged in. And I think we played through one of the simpler songs that we've got, Supernova. And we just kind of looked at each other afterwards and went, well, that was a bit shit, wasn't it?
Back it in now.
Such a strange sensation, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it really was. It really was.
So I plugged in, got all excited.
Learn them.
Yeah,
that's it.
So it's your latest single. It's the What Would You Say, isn't it?
It's the one.
About your dog.
Essentially, it was sort of, I think that little melody, the sort of we've had for ages, and I think the bones of the song we've had for ages, and that was way back in like 2019 when we first sort of started jamming. I think it was one of the first things we sort of sporadically made. Who said birth then? That would have just been anyway. I think we were sort of didn't know what to write it about or what to, nothing lyrically sort of came to us. I think we had a couple of ideas, but they were just all sort of they had no context, no sort of baseline, no sort of theme. And
just words, weren't they?
It was just words. And I was sat here in this spot, and then the door sort of opened and my dogs walked in. And I just thought, what would you say if you could speak? Like, what are you going to tell me? And I just went, hang on. And I pitched it to Ben, and you just sort of went, yes.
Because I think it's again, without sort of blowing his own trumpet, I think it's written quite in such a quite a clever way. Because if you didn't explain that to someone or tell them what it's about, it's a bit kind of underhand, isn't it? Like it's not blatantly obvious. But as soon as you mention, oh, it's about the dog, and listen to it again, you kind of go, oh yeah,
yeah. I think the other thing as well is I always I think annoyed is the wrong word. I always find it. I find it hilarious how like I could put a picture of one of my dogs up on Facebook, and it immediately gets 20 likes and shares. And then say, yeah, I've been working really hard on this song with this band, and we've been working through lockdown. It's taken like a year and a half to get us here. This is our first single, 2 likes, and they're like from the band, and it's like, right, okay. So I always just thought, right, what I'm going to do is just get a dog, attach my music to it, and then here we go, marketing.
Marketing, big brain time.
Come on, it's about time they went and earned us something. All right. Can't get a job, so yeah.
Does the dog actually approve of the track?
I don't know. I don't know what they say. If they try to talk to me. The dog, one of my dogs is. Did you like that, Ben?
I'm sorry, that just really got him that. Oh dear me!
Sorry, that's the best joke I'll say all year.
That's it.
The same situation actually happened like when we were looking for like the cover art for it. Is I didn't know what to use for it. I tried a paw. I tried like a paw print on like sand and stuff like that. And then again, the dog walked in, so I got my phone and went right up to the phone. And just went, yep,
that works.
That'll do.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so how would you describe your music to someone who's never heard you?
Oh, that's a question. I mean, this kind of sound for me is a bit of a new territory. So I don't know if I'm probably the best person to answer this, because someone's probably going to have a better idea of the bands that we sound like. So it's like, so I'm kind of more like your sort of pop rocky type stuff usually.
Yeah, I would say. Well, I think I started to say this to you, Callie, the other week. I feel like we can only really name bands that we're influenced by or that we like. I don't think we actually sound like any of our influences, which is so bizarre. But it's like I've been wanting for years to write a song like Nothing But Thieves, or to write a song like Don Broco or Rise Against It. I don't feel like any of them actually are. But it's like what happens when you sort of aiming for it. And I think essentially what we are is we're the music equivalent of a drunk in a pub trying to play darts. It's like this. I like that. It's just because
it's one way to put it.
You really are on form this afternoon. I've got a lot of time for it.
I just had
we hit the bullseye, but on a different dartboard.
Yeah, and a different dartboard in a different pub. But yeah, I guess I just name dropped those 3. I think there's a bit of Death Havana in there, it's fair to say. Cam, you're a big Linkin Park fan. Cal, you love your Muse. I don't know if there's anyone else you'd like to name drop. A lot of Arcane Roots and stuff like that.
Yeah. Royal Blood for bass tone. We're looking at like really big, compressed, heavily distorted bass sounds, stuff that can kind of fill out the space. But with the backing tracks, the Rival Sons for one song in particular that were quite bluesy, and like you said, Arcane Roots. Fan of Sigur Rós. So there's an interlude track. Or the B-side to the first single released was like an ambient remix of the single itself. I think that was inspired by a bit of post-rock.
So you walk into a record store, what area were people looking at to find your music? Like you go into the rock, the indie, the pop punk? Where you go?
Turn the lights off and we'll just run up and down and grab random things and we'll see what happens.
I would say that if you had to umbrella it, I think it definitely falls under a rock category more than anything else. Because like I say, a lot of it is riff based, or like I'd say your big sounds, your big chords. So I think if we were umbrellaing it, it's definitely kind of a modern rock sound, I think.
Yeah, whenever I'm like having to put data in on websites, it always either comes under modern rock, or if that's not there, then alternative rock. Even though I don't necessarily agree with that term, so I don't know what does that even mean.
It's a very, very broad spectrum.
Yeah, but I feel like if a lot of people, if you just say rock, they still sort of go to your classics, your Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, which we just don't sound like. So I feel like having to put an extra label on there somehow makes it a bit more relevant.
Like a mini umbrella.
What it means. Yeah. So we're underneath this big one, but I brought my own as well.
Just in case.
I think modern rock kind of describes us pretty well, doesn't it, to be honest?
Yeah.
100%.
Definitely.
So what's in store for the rest of the year?
Hopefully a lot more writing and sort of demo recording, and I think if in an ideal world, which obviously we've not had, but we still made the most of it. Like I think we'd like to get some more songs out before the end of the year, certainly. Like even if it is just like a single. Because I would like to experience the studio with you three as well, kind of like, because I know I've kind of experienced it with Tom, but Tom was like behind the desk and whatnot. I think there's just certain things when you're in the studio that I think just sort of come out of you, like that don't come out anywhere else. Like there might be like just an idea what you will only have in that environment. So that's my aim anyway. Obviously, more music and more bloody gigs, because I have missed the hell out of that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I think I mirror that completely. When I'm just itching to get my hands on more recordings.
Yeah.
I think that's the producer in me. He's just hungry. So he's selflessly using the band to just give me more stuff to mix.
That's it.
But yeah, I think it's fair to say we all get a kick out of just that moment when you sit back and go, "Yep, okay, that's now good to go. That's done."
Yeah.
I always laugh whenever Cam comes over to my house, because the first thing he always says is, "Can we listen to this song through your speakers?" It's like, yeah, I've heard it, but it's not the same.
But why not?
Yeah, I think just more gigs as well.
More of the same, definitely.
Do you have any more gigs booked in?
We got the one that I was looking for the date of just before we started this call, but I didn't get there. So give me 2 minutes.
It's the one at Real Time, isn't it? With Rhino Edwards out of Status Quo, which is super exciting.
Yeah.
It's we really get on with the guys that run that, Nikki and Steve. They are they're just absolute legends. I believe the date for that one, Tom, is the 14th of January next year. So we've got a bit of time to wait for that one. So we've got plenty of space to fill before we get there, which I'm sure we're going to be able to do.
Yeah, that's the next step, isn't it? Really, we've sort of had the chance to test run with these 2 gigs at Tramlines. And I think it's fair to say we enjoyed ourselves. So
just a bit.
Let's carry on.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so the final question is, if you could rock out with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh. God, I'm like, these are difficult questions, these.
Welcome.
Yeah, I think if I had to just pick one straight off the top of my head, like not a lot of thinking, I would say Keith Richards, because I just think he's an absolute geezer. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's almost like he's like a pirate, isn't it? He's just like, and he's just got his own thing. Like what he does is so unique. You know what I mean? Not like the most gifted guitarist in the world, which is probably why I can relate to him a little bit. Like, I know that he gets on stage, does what he does. And you can just tell that even like however old they are now, like late 70s or whatever, like they're all just absolutely loving still being on stage. So yeah, Keith Richards.
Good shout. I think mine's got to be Dave Grohl, 100%.
Nice.
Shout on all though. Oh man.
No, he plays drums, plays guitar. You can shuffle around in a practice room and see what happens with it. Yeah, and just in interviews and videos and stuff, he just gets along with everybody. He's great.
Yeah, seems like a top bloke, doesn't
it? Yeah, top Dave.
Steven Tyler.
You two still thinking?
I've gone through about 7 names, but yeah, I think Steven Tyler, Aerosmith singer, would just be. I think if I could play anything and then he could just put his voice on it, I'd That'd just be me. I'd give up music because that'd be my peak.
Yeah, that's it. You could die happy after that.
Absolutely happy. I was leaning towards Mallory Knox's old singer as well, Mikey Chapman.
Mikey Chapman, yeah.
Just because his voice is like velvet.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, so I just name drop too. So. We go. If I could just actually to do a harmony, because that would be incredible. Can you imagine?
Oh God, it'd be awesome.
I think Jimi Hendrix. I just loved what a massive sound and personality on stage he had. Would have loved to have shared the stage in that, I suppose.
That's a good show.
That's difficult to answer.
No, I think the other one for me, I was toss up between Keith Richards and Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day, because that was my first ever gig, and that just completely, without sounding cliche, that just completely changed my life. I was just like, right, that what he's doing right there, like that, I want that, I want to do that. But yeah, I think Keith Richards just about edges it just because he's super cool.
Okay, well that's it. Unless you guys have got anything else you want to add.
No, I'm good for me. I guess, do you need any social links and stuff like that?
I've got them all already.
Oh, look at that. That's what we like to hear.
Nice. I guess nothing confirmed, but some possible exciting news as far as gigs goes over the next few months. So
yeah,
people kind of give us a follow on Facebook and stay tuned.
Just keep an eye out for that next single.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it as well, yeah.
All right, well, brilliant. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
You too.
Right, and I'll speak to
Thank you very much.
See you later.
Sweet.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.